Welcome to Pour the Wine, It's Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Garry.
And you better get to pouring.
And I'm
I
pouring.
can't wait.
Yes.
Pour that Cab Sav.
Deliciousness.
Deliciousness.
Yes.
Today, we're recapping and reviewing the episode number 7 of the second season of The Chicken Sisters, Storm's Brewing, y'all. It aired on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, September 21st, 2025, and is streaming right now on Hallmark Plus.
And we would love it if you would click that follow button on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. If you listen on Apple, you can leave us a review, or Spotify, you can leave us a star.
I think you can leave stars on Apple too, like stars and review.
Yeah.
And then Spotify is just stars.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
All right. You can also leave us a review, and hopefully it's a positive review.
Hopefully.
You can also find us on YouTube and all social media.
Our email address is pourthewinei'sromcomtime@gmail.com. So please shoot us an email and let us know your thoughts about the second season of The Chicken Sisters or the first season of The Chicken Sisters or anything Hallmark related. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. So, Season 2, Episode 7 was directed by Greg Beeman. Didn't see any other director credits for Hallmark. He has almost 70 directing credits, though, including a lot of series.
A lot of series.
Yes, an episode of The Flash, 5 episodes of Lucifer, which
we loved.
I loved.
Yes.
Yes.
We loved. I loved it too.
We did love it. It was really good.
Yes.
Detective.
13
episodes of Falling Skies, another good series.
Yes.
And 11 episodes of Jag.
Jag.
Yes.
And you know who was in Jag?
What's her name from The Good Witch?
Yes, Catherine Bell. That is correct.
And Clayton.
And Clayton. Yay, you're very good. Look at you. You're learning.
Look at me. Woo, woo. I get
this
a gold
man
star.
never remembers names or faces.
I'm terrible at remembering names.
You're getting better. That was
Yes.
very good. David James Elliott.
Yeah.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
And this particular episode was written by Aaron Gibson and Dina Rosenblatt. Aaron was a writer in Season 1 and is now the showrunner and executive producer for Season 2. How cool is that?
That's really cool.
That's
good
awesome.
for her. Yeah.
She has a writing credit for the first episode of this season. Dina has one writing credit for Season 1, Episode 8, The Best Chicken in Town.
So the season finale, right?
Yes.
Season 8, right.
That's
very cool.
awesome.
Very cool. And you know what's interesting is, I know the director for this episode is, who'd you say, Greg Beeman?
Yes.
Right? He, on IMDb, they have Jackie Gould.
Oh, really?
So I think in the last episode, because we were sort of prepping a little bit early,
Right.
For this one, we said that she was also directing this episode, but the directing credit on the actual episode itself, because I watched for that too,
Yep.
was Greg Beeman. So we are making that correction
There's a correction for
today,
you.
tonight, right?
So let's drop this synopsis.
All righty. A storm comes to town, and led by Nancy's brave example, all of Merinac bands together to help their friends, family, and neighbors.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
So if you haven't seen this episode yet, we do drop spoilers. So stop the podcast.
Spoiler alert.
Go
spoiler
watch
alert.
Season 2, Episode 7, and then come back and listen to our podcast and let us know what you think. What do you think?
I think that sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
I think you should we'll definitely give away some spoilers because we go over the characters, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about what happens in the scenes, and we are going to give away some stuff.
Yes,
So-
we are.
Or you can just listen to it and enjoy it, and then we'll be caught up
There you go.
right before the season finale.
There you go. All right. So you want to dive into it now?
Let's dive into it. What did you think about this episode?
Oh, my goodness. I think this was probably one of my best, or I like this one probably the best.
Yeah, it was so fast paced. I felt like it went really quickly.
Mm-hmm. And I just love how the angles, the shot angles, the special effects. They did
You were
really
keyed
good.
into that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they did a really good job, and I like the isolation of each couple that they had throughout the show.
Yes.
brilliant.
Or not couple like romantically necessarily, but just two people that were together.
That were stuck together during the storm.
Yeah.
I thought was really, really good.
And you usually don't talk too much about how something is shot in terms of the film.
No,
and even after that, you were dying to talk about it. And you're like, I just love the way this was shot. You couldn't contain that part of it. Yeah. Yeah.
So what'd you think?
I thought it was a really great episode where we, maybe saw some character growth in some scenes, saw people get closer. There was just a tight knit relationship expansion for several different, relationships. So that's probably not the best way to say that. I don't even know. I'm jumbling through my words, but I thought it was really, really good. And like you, it's probably one of my favorite episodes, despite Shauna not being in it.
Shauna.
Now we love Shauna, Sabrina too, and Lindsay. Like I did miss them in it, but it was still a really great episode. And it really, sets up the finale.
Yeah.
The season finale. Yeah. So, episode number 8. So there was just a lot of development in the characters themselves, which I really loved. So,
yeah. A lot of forgiveness.
Some forgiveness, some, yeah. Yep. All right. So where do you want to start? Who do you want to dive into?
Well, first of all, we got to talk about the chicken symbol.
Okay. Yes. Talk about the chicken symbol. So at the beginning,
this episode, it was the weather vane.
The weather vane.
Vane.
What I said. Main Street. I don't know.
Weather vane. Yes.
Yes.
That's so. I just like looking for it now that we know that it pops up in every episode. So it was cool that it had to do with the weather.
The weather vane. Well, right, because we're looking for it in something, right? Not typically. And I wonder if it's been the weather vane before. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch season 1. Not in this season for sure, but that was a cool.
Yeah, a cool way to implement it.
Yep.
All right, so let's get started.
All right, so what happens is the storm comes in and you have people sort of paired off, right? You have, Gus is alone at first.
Right.
But then we'll get to, Frank Jr. shows up.
And he's alone at first.
And he's alone. Well, they're both, yeah. And then you have Sergio and Amanda.
Right. May and Jay.
And then Nancy is sort of helping the town. And she's with Gen a lot.
Right.
In this episode. Right. But she's with other characters too. But so
let's start with, you want to start with Frank?
Sure.
All right.
Frank. All right. So we'll talk about Frank and Gus.
Yeah, let's do that.
You can start with Frank because his, leading to Gus, his truck won't start.
Right.
We kind of we saw him stopped at the end of the last episode at the railroad crossing arm that will not lift up. Right. So he is sitting there and he's having a little bit of a meltdown, but then his car won't start.
Right.
So he gets out and goes on foot.
Right.
And at first I'm like, there's a tornado there.
Well, first he tries to lift the arm up. He lifts the arm up.
Oh, right.
And then a train goes by.
Oh, that's right.
That kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah,
it surprised me a little bit. And the narrator said something about it too. But I thought it was really cool that they did that because you haven't seen the train come through yet at all.
Right.
So you just think it's just an arm and it's just there and it's broke. But yeah. And then he tries to get back in his car because he then hears the sirens go off. So he gets in his car, tries to stop it or start it, but he's out of gas.
Right.
So he goes on foot and he's hightailing it.
He's hightailing it to his mom's house.
Yeah.
Right. I presume maybe that was the closest house. I don't really know. Right.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, at his mom's house, Gus is there and she's upstairs and she's having a hard time. The tree has crashed through the window in her bedroom, which Nancy had told Frank Sr. to take down because it was going to fall one day. And what did he say? He mansplained to her and said, no, it's fine.
Yes.
Right.
And Nancy was right.
So Gus goes into the hallway because the weather is getting worse. She needs to get downstairs and she's having a hard time moving, right?
Yeah. Because she just was getting over the episode that she had.
Right. So she kind of rounds the corner and then she sees Frank Jr., right?
Frank.
He goes by Frank now. I keep
Frank.
forgetting that.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, you know,
What are you doing?
what are you doing here? You know, and he's surprised. Is he surprised to see her? I don't really
Yes,
remember.
he's surprised to see her there. And what did she say? She calls him a ding dang dong.
Yeah, because he said, yeah. She called him a ding dang dong, and he's like, now why would I help you if you call me a ding dong or a dang ding dong or something? Yeah.
No, he said a ding dong, and she goes, "I didn't call you a ding dong. I called you a dang
ding
dong."
Yeah, it's kind of
so
funny.
That was so funny.
So then he actually helps her down the stairs,
Right.
and they go downstairs, and then they go down into the
basement.
I guess. Yeah. So, and then he's like, what is he?
Well, he's asking Gus where his mom is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and he's kind of confused why she's there. And Gus tells him that, you know, she went and rang the siren or pulled the lever to turn on the tornado siren. And that kind of upset Frank because, you know, his mom's out there and he's having this moment now that he's realizing how, you know, bad he's been toward his mom.
I think she tries. He helps her down the hall. We're kind of jumping the guy. I think that conversation was in the basement.
Yeah,
right?
it was in the basement.
We kind of already went down there, but before she even gets to the stairs, he helps her to the stairs, and then she wants to go down by herself because she's like, "I don't need your help," you know. And then when she finally admits that she needs his help, he's like, "Say the magic word." Right? You know, and she's just like,
that was so funny.
I thought that was funny. So instead of saying it, she actually spells it, right? So she says Please.
That
right?
was so
that
good.
was funny.
That was so, and Frank's like, okay, I'll take it, right? That was a funny
And that's
moment.
when they start talking. That's when he's like, where's my mom?
Right.
And he's shocked to learn that she has gone out, you know, and I think Gus realizes that she was the one who sounded the alarm, right? The tornado siren. And he's like, she did that? I can't believe it, you know? And that's when Gus is like, women can do hard things, you know, some of us never get a break from them. And, you know, that's pretty much Gus's life.
Yeah.
Which I felt like. So.
Yeah, it was really good.
So they end up
down in the basement and they have some great conversation.
Right.
And you know, I don't like Frank.
I know you don't.
I am not a big
not many people do. I'm not a fan either.
Of Frank. But so they get to having a conversation and it was kind of interesting because there's a bunch of toys on shelves and he started playing with them. So I kind of felt sorry for him because he's kind of a kid in an adult's body. And then Gus begins to explain to him about Nancy, and he gets into it with her about her daughters. Yeah. So they kind of have this moment. Yeah. And I thought it was really, really good because they're both kind of loners. Yeah. And they come together.
Well, and that's when Gus is like, we're more alike than you think. Right. Yeah, they kind of have not a battle, but they go back and forth. You're right because, you know, because she's like, something happened to you. Right. Something happened to you. You were fine when you were younger. So I wonder if something like that's going to come out. Right. Or if it was just that his dad was the way he was with him. Right. You know, maybe that's what it is. But she's like, something happened to you. And then, you know, he keeps saying, he tries to tell her that Amanda got a better life because of him. And she's like, no, Amanda had a better life in spite of you. Right. Like she did her own thing. Right. You know, and then she goes on to really praise Nancy. And she's like, you know, I wish I had 1/10 of the kindness of Nancy, you know, of your mama, you know. Right. And says her only problem is that she always puts herself second. Right. And, you know, and then she asks Frank Jr. if he's ever considered what his mom wants, not just what he wants. Right. You know, and then he really starts crying, you know. He gets upset. And then it's funny because Gus is like, now stop, you know. And then she's pushed him too far. You know? And
he says, which was interesting, he says, Frank Jr., don't cry, don't cry. He called himself Frank Jr. again.
I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Which I thought was
and
pretty
then,
cool.
Like you were saying, that's when she's like, you know, we're a lot more alike than what you think or what I would like to admit. And she says she's pushed a lot of people away in her life,
Right.
you know, and she admits that watching Kitchen Clash, she didn't like what she saw.
Right.
The way she spoke to her daughter, she did not like that at all.
Yeah.
So you really see her big heart coming out and that she's just built this tough exterior. And it's hard to bring that out.
Yeah.
It's been hard to bring that out because she's had to do hard things her entire life.
Yeah. And Frank Jr. even said the same thing. I didn't like how I was.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting too.
That's a reflection.
When it's a reflection.
Look in the mirror.
And then they hug, right?
Yes.
So it was just so good. But you got to wonder how long it's going to last with Frank Jr. Like, I don't trust anything.
Right. I'll give him, he's still on the bad list for me. So we're going to keep him there until the final episode.
Until otherwise. And he's got to prove, right? Actions speak louder than words. So he's but he made some movement there. He made some movement in the right direction. And that's, I think you were talking about the toys. That's when Gus was kind of like, did you put those down here?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And she's like, do you think your dad put them down here? No. Who do you think put them down here?
Right.
That's for you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not for your mom. She did that for you to keep that stuff. So I just thought that was really.
The other thing I thought was really good is that he told Gus that she never really liked him. And she said, well, you know, that's crazy because she said she would never hold the sins of a man against their son.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was really powerful too.
So they've probably lived this whole time with a misunderstanding about each other.
Communication.
Yep. Communication. So yeah, you're right. He probably lived with thinking she hated him for taking Amanda away and because of his dad and, you know, and everything. So yeah, that was really
good.
Really good. Yeah. Really, really profound. And, you know, Wendy Malick, gosh, the way just she delivers and, you know, her in that moment too, kind of like tearing up. It was all just so
She played that
good.
really well.
So good. Yeah.
All right. So who do you want to go on to next?
Let's go to May and Jay.
May and Jay. All right. So you have them two running into Mimi's, right?
As the sirens going off, right?
Right. And May's kind of still in shock from Clayton, her dad. Her finding out that he really wasn't there for her and really not there for Gus either. He was just there for himself. And that's when she starts to realize things aren't so good. And then Jay kind of just, you know, he's standing by the window and he hadn't been in a tornado. And she's like, I wouldn't stand by the window.
Right. You need to move away from that window, brother.
I've never been in a tornado either. And I don't ever want to be. So
I've never been in a tornado, but I have gone down to the basement in my house. Now we live in an area, just a sidebar, where, you know, we don't see tornadoes too frequently. I mean, they do occur occasionally, but there is nowhere to go.
Nope.
Where we live, there are no basements.
Nope.
Because of, you know, the ground.
We're above sea level or below sea level.
And, but I grew up where there were basements, there were cellars. My grandmother had a cellar, which we do see in this episode too. Right. And, you know, it's all concrete and stuff, but, or a shelter, whatever they called it in this episode. But, and I many times had to go down for the threat of one. But it's terrifying actually. But they were all calm and cool and like, hey, this is what we do.
Yeah.
In the South, it's what we do. Yeah. So,
But that's when she tells Jay they can't get married. She can't marry him.
Right. Because she thinks because of Mimi's curse. Yeah. Like she's cursed. Like their relationship isn't going to last.
Yeah.
And she starts to unravel, right? Like she's having a little bit of a meltdown like she does. And Jay is really there for her. He's like, you know, sometimes life goes sideways. It's not a curse.
Yeah. Which I thought was Jay's just a good guy.
He's such a good guy. Oh my gosh.
He was so calm through all this.
Yes.
And he is just explaining to her. And I just love it because he tells her to sit down. And because I guess what happened was May couldn't understand why Jay couldn't understand the Mimi curse.
Right.
So she takes all the seat tags and
the seating chart,
and names. She puts down each of the Mimi's mothers, right? Or
Right, because they had them
grandparents.
all on like a poster board. They
Right.
had the seating chart for the wedding.
Right.
guests.
And then
Right.
she tells the story about how, her great grandmother was left by her husband and how her grandmother was left and how her mom was left and how she is not going to leave him, but she feels like she's not like Gus. She's like her dad.
Yeah.
So she would be the one to leave, not Jay.
Right.
And then Jay starts to tell her, what I see up here is a bunch of strong women.
Right, which is
And
really
I
cool.
thought that was really...
He said, yeah, because he says again, it's because at first he says it's not a curse. And then he says again, it's not a curse.
Right.
I don't see the curse.
Right. And he talks about the strong women and how each one of them, it was the men who were the cowards and left.
Right. I thought that was so great that he flipped the script,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like he totally flipped the script on her. And you're right. He says that he just saw strong, opinionated women who were disrespected. That's the way he saw it. And that was pretty cool. And like you said, he called the men
Yeah, because he said, do you think I'm like those men? And she's like, no. And that's when she says, I'm like my father.
I wasn't expecting that.
Me either.
I was like, oh, now I get it.
Yep.
Because she says, her father left town right after high school. Mm-hmm. She left town right after high school and she didn't look back.
Right.
He's a liar. She's a liar. She goes on all these like comparisons. Right. I just thought that was so, that was such a profound moment for me just because the way they flipped the script like that and made her, and I hadn't even been thinking about it that way.
Me either.
I just thought she assumed because she's a Mimi's girl, she's cursed and
that
bad
Jay
things are going to happen, but not that she was viewing herself like her father.
Right.
Which was very interesting to me.
Really great writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when Jay says, I see more of Gus in you.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he says, I see a lot of Gus on you. Not necessarily more, but
he says, he
a
does.
lot of Gus in her. Yeah.
And then he tells May that he has loved her ever since he saw her.
The moment he saw her. I know. It's so sweet. I know.
He gets my...
I know.
I just love
kudos.
Jay.
And he gives this speech about her too, and he's always doing that. He's always lifting her up,
right?
Which is so great.
And that's what you should do.
That's what you should do. Yeah.
And he says something to the effect that he would rather spend a short amount of time with her than a lifetime with someone else.
Yeah. Oh,
how cool!
I'm telling you.
Man? Ooh.
You have made him a superstar. All right, Jay, we love you.
Yeah.
And then he
gets on one knee, kind of proposes to her and puts the ribbon from the seating chart tags on her finger. And she kind of snapped her out of that whole pity party,
Yeah, and it's like, woman, open your eyes and look at the man that's right in front of you, And the thing is, now he knows everything. Right. He knows your past. He's met your family. He knows, now he's met your dad. Like there's no more lies about her.
Right.
Past and jobs she had. He knows it all. Like she is just an open book and raw with him, which is great. And he still loves her for it. And it's almost like she can't accept it, which is kind of like Gus.
Right.
That is a lot like Gus in ways, But I'm glad she came around. And then they take off and go to the shelter because the storm is picking up and she knows that's where they need to go.
Right.
Like the cellar or whatever. Yeah.
So that was a good
that was a great scene between those two.
All right, so you want to go on to Amanda and
Sergio. So they're stuck at the Chicken Sisters restaurant, right? Franny's, right? Franny's, but the chicken. They're calling it the Chicken Sisters, right? So they're stuck there, and they end up Are they underneath the bar? I never was quite clear what they're.
Yeah, I don't know if they pulled a piece of the bar over the top of them, but they got underneath it.
Because at first, Sergio is kind of like
he's scared.
He's scared. And he's not only scared, but he's not handling it well. Like he is not good in a crisis, And Amanda's kind of like, okay, like we're okay.
Yeah.
And then he talks about some previous storm and he did not handle that well at all, and Amanda's like, I've been through a million of these, like you just got to take cover.
She's kind of taken it back a little bit, but she calls him Biscuit.
Yes, and then she calls him She says that he's the luckiest man around because he's with the greatest calmer downer.
I know.
And I thought that was so cute because she is.
Has really come out
yeah.
of her shell.
That's her superpower, right?
Yes.
Calming people down, staying calm in the middle of the storm.
Yep. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, that was really, really cool.
And then while they're sitting there, she's trying to get him to talk about his hush puppies, which I thought was
recipe.
Really good. She's like, tell me your recipe. And he's like, no, why should I tell you that? She goes, because if something were to happen to you, I would still be here
I need to be able to
pass them on.
Yeah.
I was like,
cute.
Okay.
And then he kind of laughed a little bit. And she just really kept trying to get him to talk and keep him distracted.
Right.
And then she asked him about his mom. Right. And we find out his mom died when he was very young. And then he started cooking and a chef took him under his wing. So he's telling Amanda all this and she just keeps talking to him and bringing it out of him. And it does calm him down. Right. And then she's like, well, what was the first thing you cooked? And then he kind of goes into a story about that.
Yeah.
I thought that
leeks
was really
or something like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Leek in some kind of fish, which it was pretty interesting.
And then I don't know what he asks her, but she basically tells him that she doesn't think she's ever really gotten what she wanted.
Right.
Like she thought she had everything she wanted, but she really didn't. And she doesn't think she's ever really gotten it. And then the lye jar falls. Another
perfect.
Yes.
Oh, implementation.
Yes. And that was one of my favorite scenes ever. Was that just the last episode?
Because the jar was like, oh no, you're lying.
Yep. Boom. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think it was that she was lying. I think that it was time to just break it open, and that's how
but it kind of gave the symbolism of, because it's a lying jar, she felt like she didn't know what she wanted, and the lying jar was kind of like, well, you kind of
do because I see what you're saying now. Maybe yeah.
So I thought that was an excellent piece to this to their portion of
series. And then do they end up kissing?
No.
They get close.
So they're getting ready to, and Frankie comes in because she says she was tired of pushing people away or pushing her thing away. And you think it's Sergio. I hope it is Sergio and not her drawings, her doodles. So we'll kind of find out. But that's when Frankie comes in.
Oh, right. Because the storm is over.
Right.
They almost get, but they make it through, and then they kind of come out and everything is kind of destroyed in the restaurant. The restaurant's still standing.
Right. But it's a mess.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go on to Nancy.
Okay. So Nancy.
My hero.
I am woman, hear me roar. Nancy has found her voice and she is shouting it from the rooftops, and I am here for it. I love it. I love it.
I am with you 100% on this one.
So we saw at the end of the last episode, she kind of storms into town hall and she's like, "Where's the mayor? We have to pull the siren," and she...
Is it Darlene and Esther were there? I think I know it was Esther, but I can't remember the other
Pauline, maybe?
Pauline, that's right, Pauline.
Yeah, so she pulls the tornado alarm and she's like, "We can't just stand here like the cheese fell off the crackers." And I'm like, I love that saying. I love cheese most of all, but the crackers are so good.
So good. I mean, I love these two women, the older women.
Right.
They are
right. So
in this movie.
She's what? She's the two what? Oh, you mean Nancy and Gus.
Nancy and Gus.
Well, they're wise women.
I know.
But been around for a minute.
Gosh.
You got to listen to your elders, right?
I know.
Even people can change no matter what the age. It's never too late, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, she tells everybody in the building to get into the basement and that she's going to go and do a run around the town to make sure everybody's okay.
Now that's bold.
That's
a tornado's coming. Yeah. I'm not really sure I would do that, but I was like,
either.
Okay.
I don't know if I could do that.
So one of the first places she goes is the cluckery, right? Because she's looking for Frank Jr. I don't think she's picked up Gen yet.
No,
at that point, right? So she goes in, she's looking for him, and she finds him crying like a little
baby
on the floor, freaked out. Just like a typical macho, like
man.
The most macho man, deep inside. He was a scaredy cat. Scared.
Yes. Then he starts to ramble about how, because when you're facing life or death, you start
it just
confessing
all
about
comes out.
everything. And he's telling Nancy that the cluckery is going under, is
Bankrupt.
and
Yeah.
his business. And she was like, what did you say? And then he kind of backtracked on it. And then she was like, well, where's Frank? And he's like, I don't know. And then she runs out. And now her mission is to...
She says, I knew you were more crooked than a hound dog's leg.
Oh, my
That's what she says to him. I thought that was so good, too. Yeah, where she leaves.
She did say that.
Right. And then she goes on. She's looking. And is that when she comes across Gen and he's trying to do a flat tire or something.
He had a flat tire.
The wind is blowing and the leaves are all
blowing
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't... She comes across him and she's like, come on, let's go. And he's like, well, wait a minute. And she's like, we got to hurry up. And you find out that Jen has his baby in the back. So
yeah,
he grabs the baby and then they go on to the next stop.
Well, she goes to Frank Jr.'s because she really wants to find him. Right. Yeah. She's like, Frank Jr. So she goes into his apartment and then she figures out where he would keep the extra key. She finds it. She gets into his place, realizes he's not there and is really kind of like heartbroken a little bit, right? Or a lot maybe. And then goes back out to the car. And, she's basically telling Gen, just because they get older doesn't mean you worry any less.
Right.
Because she's really trying to find him and make sure he's okay.
Right.
And
then so they leave there and then they come across Frank's truck turned upside down.
Right.
And she thinks that's it. He's gone, right? But she checks the truck. He's not in there.
Yeah.
And so they're driving along and I think they get a call from Esther saying that,
Or she calls Esther and it's like, have you heard?
Have you heard about Frank? Have you seen him? And she said some people saw him running down Main Street booking it, right? So, and I guess she figured out that he was probably running to her house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that's when we come across that.
Well, she was so grateful that he was alive, actually.
Right.
So then she goes, I guess she drops Gen off then probably at his house.
Right.
Right.
I think so.
And then she goes home and, by the time she gets home, Frank and Gus have already had this big conversation and Frank, he's asleep, right? When she gets there. And then she kind of goes up to him and first she comes in, she's like, Gus, because she's really worried. And Gus is like, we're down here. So then Nancy goes downstairs and that's when she sees Frank. And
she asks Gus, how'd you get down here?
Yeah. And Gus is like, and Nancy's so relieved to see Frank Jr. And then she goes to give him a hug. And I just thought it was kind of funny because he's like, Mama, like he's 5 years old or something.
That's the little kid in him.
I know.
So it's kind of, they make it hard to hate him.
I know. And then, he gives her, do they hug or whatever?
And then he apologizes because Gus is kind of looking at him like
she's giving him like an eye, like,
excuse me,
you got some shit to say to her, your mama,
And Nancy's all about giving the second chance.
Yeah.
And so they hug it out.
Yep. And then he hugs Gus, who does not like hugs.
But then she
kind of gave him a hug.
Wow, we've hated each other this whole time for no reason at all, right?
And then we have. The storm is over and, it's kind of the sun is coming out, which is incredibly wild.
Isn't
to go
crazy?
Through that kind of storm. And then, the sun comes out after like nothing happened, only a lot did happen.
Right.
And May and Jay come out of the cellar and, it kind of ends with May looking towards Mimi's.
Whatever. Right.
Well, Mimi's, they ran from the restaurant. So it's
right. So
Mimi's,
you don't know if
and
it's
we
there.
don't know if it's totally gone, which I presume,
the look on her face.
Yeah. So we're going to find out in episode number 8. And then the narrator says, which I thought was really cool, like, how can we know how strong our roots are if we're not tested by the wind?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was so
brilliant piece of writing.
That was that was at the end, towards the end, and I was like, that is such a profound question.
It is.
Like you realize how strong family friendships are when you're tested.
When you are tested,
that's when you find out who your real friends are, what family members will stand by you.
And
you
I
know.
liked how the Nancy, Frank, and Gus came out of the house, and Nancy was looking around, and the tree was gone.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But the devastation
Yeah,
and the destruction of everything.
Yeah, everything's down.
And then that's when she got a call from Darlene or Pauline that the storm was gone, it's over, and we're all good.
Right. And then the narrator also says the storm blew away the things the Mimi's girls had been holding on to for a long time, the lies they told themselves, the myths they believed. But this storm, it got a little too carried away.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Mimi's is gone.
Aww.
So there were just so many revelations from the characters, so much growth from, so many of the characters. It was a really, really
excellent
episode. And, I did miss Shauna,
and Sabrina and
Frankie
Lindsay.
and Sabrina and Lindsay. I miss them, and then
Frankie wasn't even in it that
we
much.
kind of also have, Nancy, I guess, does she go back to the city hall at the end, or is she,
yes,
because she kind of tries to find out what happened to the mayor,
right?
Or maybe that was at the beginning, and then at the end, she's like, we're just going to have to,
yeah. You
can see she's going to take charge,
right,
of the town, since the mayor is incapacitated.
They're going to elect themselves a new mayor.
A heart attack.
Yeah.
Well, she might just fill in at first, but.
So, is that a wrap?
I guess that's a wrap.
So, out of 5 drumsticks in a biscuit, how many would you give this one?
I would really probably. I have to give this one a 5.
Me too.
It was so good.
Straight up 5.
It was so good, and I really hope that the next episode we enjoy it for what it is, and we're not, like a little bit disappointed, because this felt like this could have been a final episode of a season, but and I know we have the wedding coming up in episode 8. So, and I'm really glad that they didn't have anybody die,
right? Or,
get injured. Like I thought, I was like, I hope nothing happens to Frank Jr. As much as I dislike him, it's like, ugh, I don't want,
Yeah, and I don't want them to put them back together either, because we've gone through 2 seasons now of them being at each other's throats.
Although he might try, because
I'm sure he's going to try.
Yeah.
But I just hope Amanda just says, you know what, we're better off friends. Okay?
Yes. Well, it sounded like she's ready to move towards Sergio,
right,
in that moment.
Right.
But we'll
Either
see.
that or the doodles.
Or the what?
Doodles.
Or the doodles.
Yes, the drawings.
When you say doodle, I think of our doodle. We have a golden doodle. Even I got you. No, I know what you're talking about now. Her doodles, her drawings. Yeah. So, yep.
All right. So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
All right. If you really, really like the show, we would really, really appreciate your positive review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you really didn't like the show, we'd still appreciate your positive review.
Yes, we would.
Yes.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and on social media so you don't miss a thing. Until next time,
cheers.